Hello everybody. In this video I want to go ahead and show you guys the Media tab of Davinci Resolve 14, which is typically going to be the starting place for where you import all of your video files into Davinci Resolve to actually go ahead and get started editing them. And I really should say that with a couple caveats because A, if you're using the Media tab, you don't necessarily have to manually add in the files through drag and drop, because over here in this video section on the left here, it's going to automatically link up your username/videos folder, which there's a good chance that's where you're actually recording your videos to or storing them already. And it also gives you the C drive so you can navigate through your computer here if you choose, rather than having to use Windows Explorer. In addition to that, using the Media tab is actually optional. If you do choose, you can drag and drop clips from Windows Explorer straight into the Edit tab over here and get started editing there by moving it into the timeline, but we'll cover that more in the future videos. So if you click over here on these computer locations, such as your username/videos folder, you'll be able to see all of the video files and audio files that actually exist inside of that directory. Video files, of course, will get a thumbnail by default so that you can get a preview of what that video is about. And you can also navigate by clicking in the folders to see all of your raw footage if you have a captures folder set up like I do. Though how you actually get your files recorded and storing them on the computer is really up to you. Personally, I typically use Open Broadcaster software as my recording tool. I have another course on that, so that's not really applicable here. I recommend you go ahead and check some of my videos out on that if you need to know. Now, if it does turn out that you want a few extra details about what all of these video files are about, aside from the title, the fact that they have audio or video content, and a thumbnail preview, you can click over here. Rather than having it be a thumbnail preview, they also have a detailed list view for all of the files in those directories. So here we can see some of the captures I've gotten. Notable things like the resolution of the file, the length of them, the FPS, frames per second, that they were recorded at, and the last date that they were modified. In most cases, though, sticking with the thumbnail view is probably going to be fine for you because most of that extra information isn't so critical to a typical project. Now, if you've got a lot of different recordings or already compiled and created videos in your folders and you want to sort through them, there's a search icon here to help you out. So just like a Google search, all you would really need to do is to filter here. So my videos in this folder are titled by their date and time. So let's try to filter by 2017, 11/30, and you can see I created 5 or 6 videos on that date, and I'd be able to drag those into the clip box down here. So in the master clip box, these are going to be the actual files that you are using in your video project. As you can see on the Edit tab, everything that exists here, where it says Master, also exists under the Edit Master section. Now in the Media Storage section, you can actually add in new locations on your computer or network hard drives so that they will show up here. And how you would do that is you right-click and you go to Add New Location. So if you have another location on your computer which is going to have important media assets, whether that's video, audio, or even images, then you might want to find that folder. Let's just say my desktop here, which should have some images there. Select folder, and then that's going to pop in there. So you can see Chris' desktop. We have some of the thumbnails for videos I've recently created, and we can actually use those inside of our project. A video doesn't always have to be imported MP4 clips. It can also be JPEGs, it can also be PNGs, or it can just be audio clips. You kind of assemble them all into one, add some titles, and that's the general idea. So if we happen to find a file that we actually want to go ahead and edit, we simply drag it down here, and then it will be available to us when we move over to the Edit tab and we actually start working with the timeline. So what we can do if we only want to bring a small section or a clip from one of our previously recorded videos, whether it's edited or not, into the project, is we can left-click on the video in the videos box over here, and then we would find a starting and an ending point inside of this preview window, and we hit I to create an end point, which means everything before that is going to be ignored, and we go find an out point, we click O, and you can see that the section on the bar, what's actually marked between in and out is gray, and outside of that is a much darker gray, which means that only these portions inside of the in and out point are going to be imported as long as we drag this into the project. And we can actually drag straight from the preview window if we prefer. So I'm going to drag that there and drop it in the master section. And now you can see that from a 40-minute clip, I've dragged maybe 4 or 5 minutes of that clip into our master section. Other features in the Media tab that may be useful to you include the audio box up here. So embedded audio, while you're playing a video, it will show you the actual audio bars inside of that clip. So generally, you want your audio to be kind of in the green section. Maybe it gets a little bit into yellow, but if it's hitting red, that's actually a bit dangerous. If it hits 0 decibels up here, it's likely that you'll lose audio data and it will sound very distorted. This other optional box up here, metadata, when you have a clip selected, it'll show similar information to what you would have seen if you went into the detailed layout in the videos box. So you can see the same kind of information, the resolution, the length of the video, all that other kind of stuff. That's also listed here. In fact, I believe it shows exactly the same information. Worth mentioning, these two pieces of information, the video and audio codec, where it says H.264 and AAC, if that was information that was relevant to you, you can actually add that in the details view over here by right-clicking at the top and adding those columns in. So video and audio codec, we can see those appear over here. And likewise, if you want to remove some stuff, like let's say bit depth and number of frames, we can right-click there and uncheck a couple of those to make it less cluttered. We're going to gloss over it a bit right now, but there's also this capture option up here. So if you have a video device connected to your computer, such as a webcam, you can actually connect that here and to capture video files straight within Davinci Resolve 14, but that'll be a tutorial for a later video. Over here at the top left, there's a tool called the Clone tool. So like the name would suggest, if you want to copy files between one folder and another, you can do that here. You can also queue up multiple jobs if you want to do this in bulk all at once. But let's say we wanted to capture all of the video files from the captures folder over here to the test folder. So let's actually X those out right here a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to drag captures over here, or actually we could drag test over here, which is going to change the source path, basically where the files are being copied from. And we can copy them into the destination or where the files go, such as test. You can also see that multiple destinations are available here if you do need multiple locations. And when you're ready, you can just go ahead and hit clone. If you want to do multiple jobs at once again, you just hit add job, and you can queue up a lot of video files to be copied from your source locations to wherever you want them on your computer or your network hard drives. So if you have a large project that's going to need to organize a lot of files, what you can do is over here in the media pool, which is the bottom of the media tab, we can right click and go to add a bin. And you can just think of a bin as a folder that's generally being used for video files. So if I just call this captures, like the captures folder up here, we can put as many clips as we want down here all at once. So once again, you can either drag from your computer and pop them in using Windows Explorer, or we can use the built-in Explorer up here in media storage, just drag everything we want, and then we pop it into the media pool down here where we can use it in the edit tab. Now, there's an awful lot of files in here as well, and in order to sort through these files by default, we would need to manually sort them all out. So you might have a bunch of different folders here, so let's just call it folder 2, and by basically going through the video files, we might decide that a few of these belong in one category but not another. So yeah, trying to manually organize them, right? But there's also this thing called smart bins down here. So if you would rather not manually move files around these folders, what you can do is you can set up a smart bin. And a smart bin is going to filter through all of the clips that exist in these bins over here, and to kind of automatically put the clips that belong to the criteria into these smart bins. So this may end up being a better way to organize things. You won't have to manually add every file to the bin, because as it detects files that meet the requirements, it'll automatically include them in the smart bin. And how you would create a smart bin is you right click, hit add smart bin, but we're going to edit this one that already exists. So right click and edit smart bin. And you can see that this smart bin is matching all of the files that exist in the captures folder as their source. So not actually captures here, the bin here, but the source path on my computer, which is my user directory, Chris Videos Captures. Now, that's kind of a lame filter, and we probably want something a bit more useful than that. So we can keep that, and then we can add a new filter on top of that. So let's see, a file path contains, let's find something more like the clip length. So if we scroll down here through the possibilities, we should be able to find what we want. Duration TC, I believe that's what we're looking for. So is greater than 0? No, we want more like is greater than, let's say, 10 minutes, so that we're only showing the files that have a long duration, which is probably going to be, for instance, the videos that we actually had good taste in and we didn't stop after 2 seconds. So in order to prove that all of these videos are in fact 10 minutes long and in the captures folder on my computer, we can go over here to the details view, just like up there in the top left-hand corner for the media storage. We can details view over here, and we can see the duration, 12 minutes, 12 and a half minutes, 10 minutes and 2 seconds, just barely making the requirement, and 22 minutes, and all of them are in fact stored in Chris Videos Captures. So as you can see, if you have a lot of files in your project, smart bins can be a useful way to sort through all your data, especially if you think you're going to be adding new clips on in the future. So assuming you have all the clips that you actually want to show up in the media pool for the edit tab in your project ready to go, and maybe we'll just delete a bunch of these here for now, because most videos are not going to include that many clips in the source material. You can head over to the Edit tab, which is going to be my next tutorial on the subject of Davinci Resolve 14. So thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you in understanding the Media tab, and I will see you guys in my future video content.